You are listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello and welcome back to a bonus episode of the Claret Blue podcast, our first signing announcement, which is nice to say at last. As we record this right now on Monday morning, Samata has not yet signed, so we're not going to talk about specifics on contract length or wages or anything like that, because obviously we don't know. But if this video is out, hopefully today, it means he's now signed. So, Ally Samatta, or you want to give him his first
Mbwana
name?
Ally Samatta.
Mbwana.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I have listened to pronunciations all morning, and do you know when people record it and send it off to a website, upload their own pronunciation of it? There's like 4 different versions, and one of them is just the robot saying it as Mbwana. So yeah, I'm going to go with Mbwana because
it seems to be Ally Samatta, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
what it will go by.
Yeah. We've been using the full name in our headlines, but yeah, I guess Ally Samatta or Samata, Villa's new striker. Happy to have him here.
So I'm going to kind of play the role of the guy that doesn't know anything about him, which is definitely not true because I know all about him. Of course I do. I've done loads of research, and you've done, obviously, because you've written about him, you've had to kind of look into him a little bit. Again, I've watched a YouTube video. Looks decent. You can't judge too much off that. Looks good in the air for a guy that's, I don't think he's 6 foot, is he? I think he's 5'10", 5'11", or something like that.
Yeah, he's a bit smaller than 6 foot.
So, I mean, for the one that springs to mind straight away is the goal against Liverpool in the Champions League last year. An absolute bullet header. I love that. And for a side that's not scored a header this season as well, which is mental. Hopefully he can start to fix that. So I kind of want to play the role of the fan that probably won't really know much about him, and hope that you've done enough research in your articles that you could kind of bring us all up to speed on who this guy is and what we can expect from him.
Well, firstly,
no pressure.
Yeah, firstly, it's a striker, Dan, which is it's massively basic level. That's massively important. We saw against Brighton, Villa play kind of with a false number 9, so it's basically an attacking midfielder and 2 wingers.
Yeah,
that doesn't encourage teams to kind of sit back. That encourages them to play a high line and put Villa on the back foot, because you don't have that pacey forward or a focal point. And when we saw Vassilev come on, Indiana Vassilev, for his Premier League debut, we actually saw a striker make strikers runs and be able to press that back line, and Brighton were pushed back a little bit. Having that focal point like Samata, a pacey forward who can run in between the lines, make those smart runs, will make teams think twice, at the very least, at a base level, without goals, make them think twice about sitting up against Villa.
It's such a basic concept, isn't it, to think that? Like, when Vassilev came on, I think he touched the ball, I've seen somewhere like 3 or 4 times, something, but it just changes the game. Like, I kind of stuck up for El Ghazi, and I know it was against Man City, and we lost 6-0, but the ball went up to him a few times and he controlled it well, or he won a flick on or something. It's like, he's doing his best kind of thing, but those things that you are taught as a striker, the runs and the kind of awareness and stuff like that, El Ghazi and Jack and Trezeguet and all these people that are playing as the furthest forward, they've not learnt that part of the game. I know it's still football, but it's different. They haven't got that natural instinct that a striker has got. So as you say, to get him in, and we've now got someone who can actually play as a number 9, that's his role. Like, that is a kind of a relief now that, okay, like, he will play, he will know how to make these runs, and hopefully, obviously, he'll score goals as well. Yeah,
I mean, the best case scenario here is that Villa are improved without the striker needing to score goals, because that threat, or the intention of that threat of having a striker who can run in behind, off a long ball off the back of Tyrone Mings, for example, that is now a threat again. That is now something Villa can do. In the last few games, we've seen teams kind of push up high against Villa because Villa, they don't have that focal point. It's going to an attacking midfielder who's breaking wide and crossing into the box for like no one, because the other wingers are too far out wide or dragged across. So it has really affected Villa's team shape to play. I'm all for that tactic of playing, strikerless or with a false number 9, but Villa haven't trained it. They haven't trained it, so it's kind of like it's been off the cuff. It's worked to an okay level, but now Villa have some threat again. I think if Samata can do what he's done for Genk, and that's run behind the man, create those, spearheading that attacking line. He's scored plenty of goals in Belgium, and I know people are, not looking at that in a favourable light, but that is, that it's an undervalued league.
Yeah.
You buy quality players from Belgium. Christian Benteke came from Belgium. We all know what he did at Villa. So, I'm going to wait till the Premier League games to judge him.
Yes, very wise. In recent weeks, obviously, we've gone to 3 at the back. That's a new thing. And then we all of a sudden go to 3 at the back without a striker. So it's kind of no surprise that we've struggled a little bit. Do you think that we'll stick with this 3 at the back system and have a Trezeguet and El Ghazi playing off Samata, or is this a case of we'll revert back now and Samata will be the leading line and we'll go back to what we saw before Christmas? obviously hard to judge.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge because on one hand you may have kind of the same formation, except Samata's now in the centre, Jack Grealish is out wide, Trezeguet or El Ghazi are on the other flank, and it's Samata spearheading that line instead of dropping back.
Yeah.
But then they could play Grealish behind, maybe one of Samata in front of him. There's a lot of variables here, and we're not going to know because this is kind of a new thing for Villa now to play this back three with an actual striker. I think we had like
one game. It was Burnley, wasn't it? It was
75 odd minutes of Wesley, and that we were playing a different style with Wesley. We were kicking it to him, allowing him to hold it up with an exceptional ability. He has to hold the ball up and bring players like Grealish in, and it was working fantastically until he was stricken off for the rest of the season. But yeah, we'll see with Samata maybe a different approach, and that's playing through the defenders, playing through balls into him running in behind.
Do you think that if we stay as we are now, and Trezeguet or El Ghazi are playing off him, and Jack is obviously playing further forward as well, do you think that now they've had to play as a striker, they'll kind of know how to support a striker better? Because even when Wesley was there, it was still an issue that, okay, well, we're not getting close enough to him to support him. Do you think now that maybe they've had to play that position of having no support, well, they'll kind of go, okay, I know I need to get closer to this guy now because I know how hard it is when you don't get service? Or is that kind of too simplistic?
No, it's right, but like then you have other teams kind of, if you press too high, if you have like a flat front three, that allows the other team to kind of exploit those spaces left behind. So it's always, you've always got to play smart, however you line up. But I think they might take a bit more of a favourable view now. These players have, a striker's job. I think Samata's job is going to be slightly easier than Wesley's because Villa, I don't see him being this kind of hold-up guy like Keenan Davis, like Wesley, or even what we tried to make Anwar El Ghazi against Man City. This kind of guy who chests it and makes a chance for someone else. I think he'll be playing in off the back, instinctive runs, through the strikers, and aiming to get on the end of some of these crosses that we're putting in, because so far these crosses have been useless, and without a striker it's been poor. You see crosses just float over everyone, and there's no winger on the other side to pick it up because they're attacking. So I think maybe we can actually take advantage of some of these crosses going into the box now.
Also, having a pacey forward again for the first time, somebody with a bit of pace in a forward area, regardless of obviously if he gets one-on-one and he's terrible at finishing, a bit like Gabby during his days, you kind of think, don't back him to score kind of thing. You just feel more dangerous just off the back of someone who's going to... If I was a defender, I'd be scared of anyone who's got pace, even if you think you're kind of quick as a defender. If someone's running at you full pelt, chasing a long ball, I'm kind of thinking, I'm in trouble here. So even just that danger level of, first of all, for Villa, he's a striker. We needed a striker. That's base level, like you said. But to have I feel like having pace almost kind of makes up for other deficiencies in his game, if there are any. Obviously, I've not seen enough of him to know, because at least he'll stretch the play a little bit, and he'll close people down and lead that attack. And then I said to somebody on Twitter the other day, if he's kind of pressing his man, and then Jack follows and Trezeguet follows, and then the crowd suddenly go, okay, yes, we're trying something here. That kind of little moment of somebody being a focal point and pressing people down with a bit of pace, all of a sudden gives you a little bit of a lift, and that's all we need at the moment. Just on that very, very basic level, we all just need a lift, and if Samata comes in and delivers that as well as goals, we'll all be going, yes, here we go.
Yeah, I think it gives opposition defenders something to think about. Whereas, obviously, you don't want to be too unfair to Wesley. The guy's injured, but his way of playing was he would hold it, he would get the ball, pass it off, get it again on the edge of the box, and lay it off to another forward, Grealish, El Ghazi, Trezeguet in the box, and that wouldn't always work because that Wesley would have people on him, and the other bloke running in, whether it's Grealish or Trezeguet, would be often double marked and have to run for a maze of players. And Grealish is capable of that. We've seen that plenty of times, but it's a difficult situation to score. And I think Samata gives Villa the opportunity to strike earlier and strike from deeper than before. With Wesley, I think we had to build up a bit slower. Sometimes we're spraying it out to the wing, which then you had to wait for people to arrive in the box. I think with Samata we can strike earlier, and I think I don't know how he'll get off, start off his life to England in England in the Premier League, but signs are promising. This guy's a goal scorer. I think in Belgium he's got a goal every 2 games, 0.5 per 90 goals. So that's a promising start enough for me. He's won the Ebony Shoe, which is an award for the best African player in Belgium. That's an award with prestige in Belgium. Lukaku's won it. Vincent Kompany's won it. These players are of a certain quality, and Samata is now in that group.
Thing that I kind of had no idea about was that he's a captain as well. which I remember saying in the year that was it the first year in the Championship or the second one, we started signing like the Whelans and the Jedinaks and people like that, and McCormack as well, and we were like, oh yeah, we've got like a team of captains here, like that's surely going to be worth something. We've kind of looked at this whole lack of leadership thing over the season. When Mings is out, who's barking the orders? Heaton looks like a good character, he's gone now. Obviously we talk about Pepe Reina in our other podcast, he comes in and brings that back, but we've never had that in a forward position. A player that's going to kind of lead from the front, essentially. So the fact that he's captain for Genk and his national side as well, that brings a wealth of experience that we need at the other end of the pitch. So it kind of feels like we've now got that kind of role throughout the whole side now, in theory.
So if you watch any interview of him speaking to like Genk's official club channel, he speaks very well of the intangibles required to be a striker, like confidence.
Really?
Yeah. He knows that goals are important to kind of his livelihood. If you're not scoring, it's going to be harder to score because you're going to be thinking twice about taking certain opportunities.
Yeah.
So he's a leader of he's not just the captain of the Tanzania national side. He's like the genuine leader. It's easy to get given an armband and kind of run around on a pitch, but to be the leader, 1.2 million Instagram followers, which
nice.
Like, I know a lot of people won't take that into consideration. That is the size of Birmingham, and that is a lot of Tanzanian support. You've seen on the Twitter feeds any news about Samata, Tanzanian fans are rooting for him.
I saw your tweet you posted from the work account, got like 3,000 likes or something. I was like, I've never seen those numbers here. What's going on? And you got all these comments. Like, I was logged into the notifications, it's just like every tweet was in like a language I just couldn't understand. I was like, mate, this is going crazy. And I saw an article saying, I don't know whether it's here or not, talking about you've now got like 57 million new Villa fans.
It's a population of Tanzania.
The whole population is now like behind this guy because he's their kind of representative in the Premier League. I don't know whether there's been a Tanzania player in the Premier League before.
I mean, look at the impact that Marvellous Nakamba had.
Yeah, exactly.
From followers in Zimbabwe, that has maybe half, if that, the population of Tanzania, which is a huge country. So this is a real kind of move of some cultural standing, to be honest.
He's the captain of their national team. They all love this guy, and now they can follow him with Villa. And he's got that kind of respect and weight about him that he brings with him. And that's what we need, a bit of bite, I think.
This guy's already, I know a lot of Villa players will judge a new transfer on how he performs for Aston Villa.
Yeah, 100%. We're talking here on things that I'm not going to say irrelevant, because obviously we can't talk about anything other than this at this stage. Like, as we're recording this, he's not even signed yet.
No.
Despite all fall through in this video, he's into the abyss forever. But ultimately, people will be thinking, well, I want to see him play. If he plays the next 5 games and he doesn't score, that's an issue still, isn't it, for Villa in this moment, this season? So he needs to, I said it in a podcast previously, whoever we sign needs to hit the ground running, which is difficult, but that's what, as a striker especially, he has to come in and score goals immediately, and I'm praying that he does.
Yeah, I mean, I do genuinely believe that he doesn't even need to start scoring for Villa to be a better team, just because of the threat he brings. But the guy's a goal scorer. Hopefully he gets off the mark for Villa sooner rather than later, and things start to look up for this side. I think people are speaking of, this is more of a thing for the podcast, but people are speaking far too quickly about the fear of relegation. When we're in January, I think we're like 7 odd points behind Arsenal, so things probably aren't as bleak as they seem. I think we look too hard at the current table position and what we could be, and I think with Samata we could be a better team, for sure.
Look at Southampton and Watford. November, December, people are going, well, Watford are probably going to be the ones that go down.
You can't do that.
Southampton are 9th or something now. Like, I know it's always hard in the moment to kind of look that far ahead, but if, let's say, Villa win the next 3, I don't know who those next 3 are off the top of my head. I know the next 2 are easy-ish, you'd say on paper. If Villa win the next 3, all of a sudden we're way further up the table than we expect, and you kind of go, oh, what were we worried about? So you can't. It's silly to kind of make too many judgments at the moment, but you can't. On the other hand, you can't not be concerned that Villa have got 2 or 3 serious injuries and currently have been playing without a striker. That's a lot to be concerned about. But hopefully, like I say, if he grabs a couple of goals or helps us perform in a better way, all of a sudden things do look a little bit more rosy.
Yeah, and look, people say he's going to be under a lot of pressure, and I think the pressure he's been under all his life is to be the influence for an entire entire country. And look, the way he's spoken to the media, in interviews, in personal documentaries, is that he wants to play for a top European club with top European history, and he's one step closer to that now.
Yeah.
If he performed for Aston Villa, and I hate to say, look, we've got to look at players in a different way now. We can't look at them as one club people anymore. That they have aspirations and they have goals.
Yeah,
they're not just to play for Aston Villa, unfortunately. And this player wants to play at the biggest clubs in Europe, and this is how you get noticed now.
Yeah,
is by performing in the Premier League. So hopefully he can go on and do that. I know he wants to, so fingers crossed.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, I remember going back to the whole Grealish thing. If he leaves, if that does happen, it means that he's performed well enough for Villa. So you just have to take that at this stage. Like, if Samata comes in and scores 20 goals and gets a move to Arsenal or whatever, he will have scored 20 goals for Villa, so we will have had some success off that. So I'll just take that at the moment, regardless of what happens in the future.
Yeah. As Villa fans, I think we all fantasise about kind of that striker announced straight in on a Tuesday night, kind of under the lights, 2 goals. Villa down, Villa are down 2 goals going into the break. Samata comes on, hat trick, 3-2 for the whole end. I think we all have these.
They announce him at half time, and then he just comes on for the second half anyway. Yeah, I'd love that. Imagine that.
But we all have these dreams, and we kind of project them onto the players a little bit. Look, if he doesn't play against Watford, I think that's okay. We all want it to happen, but look, this is the situation we're in, and this is the cards we've been dealt. So.
Yeah. I remember saying, like, look, I know signing players is easy, but we know we needed a striker. Like, why haven't we done it earlier? There's factors in it that make this difficult. Dean Smith is probably pulling his hair out, thinking, "Oh, I need him." Like, but the things the hoops you have to jump through to get these players through the door in January is, especially given the work permit stuff, they can't do anything about it, can you? It's just the way of the world. So I think that kind of pretty much sums him up. You can stick a video of me on YouTube and watch some goals, which I know is a terrible way to judge a player these days, but that's literally all we've got. So he seems a good character. Like you said, the interviews, he's spoken well. The fans seem to love him in Genk and obviously in his home nation as well. So get him on that pitch and get him scoring goals is all I want to see.
Yeah, I just want to see him in a Villa shirt now. I don't know what number he'll take. 11's taken by
available?
There's an art, yes.
20 available?
So. But he's definitely not going to 9, 10, 11 are done, so he'll have to be a bit original.
What's his number now?
10. Have
Okay.
to beat Grealish for that.
That's not going to happen, is it? No, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's weird, isn't it, that I'm now looking forward to seeing what number he's going to wear. That's how much I want this signing to just be done now and out of the way. So yes, that's our little roundup of first name.
Mbwana Ally Samatta.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So if you've enjoyed this little kind of reaction video, I guess you'd call it, to the signing, then do let us know, and we'll potentially do more of these if we sign more players. We'll see what happens. Stick up an iTunes review and all the rest of it. Leave your comments on YouTube if you want to get involved in the conversation, and I'll get back to you. And thanks, James. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. And up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Thank you for listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, up the Villa.